Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef, and today I'm going to share a knife skills class with you guys. As you're joining, let me know where you're watching from, and also let me know if you have any of Pampered Chef's cutlery in your kitchen already. So I'm going to share our knife block set, show you what comes with the set, and show you some things that you can add to your knife block after you purchase your set, and which items are available open stock. I'm also going to show you how you can keep your knife block and your wood cutting boards looking great, and share some other tips along the way as well. If this is your first time watching, please hit the subscribe button while you're here and tap the bell so that you're notified anytime I add new content to my channel. I also have a recipe community, and you can find it by going to theflipflopchef.com, clicking the button at the top of the page, and you'll have access to thousands of recipes as well as a weekly giveaway every single Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to first talk to you about the knife block that you see here, and then I'll give you some tips and show you how to use some of the knives on food so that you can actually see the right way to hold a knife and to chop with it. So this is our knife block, and if you purchase the knife block as a set, these are the items that you're going to get with it. So I want to talk about that first, and then I'll go over some of the things that you can add to the block. So if you buy the knife set, of course you're going to get this beautiful wood block. You're going to get a bread knife, and this is something that's only available in the block. It's not sold separately. You're going to get a chef's knife, which you're going to see me use in just a little while. And just so you know, every knife comes with a really nice cover. So if you purchase the ones that are available open stock and you're not putting them in a block that you already have, you can store them in a drawer and not have to worry about the cases coming off. So we'll talk more about those in just a little bit. The next knife is our Santoku knife. I love this one and use it quite often. That one and the chef knife are the ones that I use the most. Then we have a utility knife. Every kitchen needs a utility knife. We also have our stainless steel shears. Now we do sell another pair of kitchen shears, but this is my preference, and I'm always going to grab these if they're clean. So these are really cool because they come apart for easy cleaning. These have a lifetime guarantee, but these do need to be washed by hand. You can also sterilize them in the Deluxe multi-cooker if you like. You're going to get a tomato knife, which is a serrated knife, the size of a steak knife, but it has a serrated edge. And you're also going to get a paring knife. So the paring knife, the steak knife, or tomato knife as we call it, the bread knife, these knives are not sold open stock. So if you know that you want these, then definitely aim to get the knife block. So I'm going to put all of these back in so that you guys can see all the slots that are full and the slots that are open. So we're going to be using a few of these. You also get, with the knife block set, a honing tool. So I want to show you how to use the honing tool. I recommend that you hone your knives maybe every month or so. Some professional chefs will tell you to hone your knives every single time that you use them. I don't get that crazy with it, but it's very easy to hone your knives. And if you don't know what honing is, it's not the same thing as sharpening, and you want to hone your knives more than you sharpen them. Honing your knives will keep them sharper longer so that you don't need to sharpen your knives. Hopefully that makes sense. What I want you to do, whether it's during this video or later on, I want you to go to your kitchen and I want you to grab one of the knives that you use all the time. And if you hold it and you look down the blade of the knife, you're going to be able to see if there's little jagged edges on the knife. Honing your knives will smooth out those jagged edges so that you get a nice smoother cut. So to hone the knife, you're going to place the blade inside. So let me start from scratch here. So this is the honing tool. You're going to open this little piece here, and this is going to protect whatever surface you're honing on. So this is where your blade is going to actually hit. So you take your knife, put it in the base of the blade here, and pull forward. So you're going to do this a couple of times. You see how I'm kind of hitting on this? You don't want to hit your countertop or other surfaces with that. So you're going to hone your knives once or twice, once every month or two. So you don't have to do it every single time. If you want to, go right ahead. But the benefit of honing over sharpening is it doesn't shave away any of the knife blade, it just smooths out those little nicks. Where sharpening, you're actually going to lose a little bit of the blade. I do recommend that you have these professionally sharpened. Some grocery stores and hardware stores offer that, but if not, just Google knife sharpening in my area and it's going to pull up some suggestions for you. I have a suggestion for those of you watching from West Georgia, Carrollton, Villa Rica area, and those of you watching in Sarasota, I have a connection for you guys for that. Now, what can you add to the knife block? So we do sell a beautiful set of steak knives. You get 4 of these steak knives. They come in a beautiful box. You can keep them stored in the box, or you can transfer them over to your knife block. So I'll show you where I store mine. I just put them on the bottom row of this knife block. If you wanted to, there's room for another set of steak knives. So this knife block can accommodate up to 8 steak knives, which is 2 sets of ours. So you can put one in the bottom row, one in the next, and I just move these 2 knives right up. Now, I have some knives that I have from a previous line of Pampered Chef products that I like, and so I'll show you what else I keep in mind. So my knife block stays pretty full, and I love the large Santoku knife, which we discontinued, and so I kept a couple of those because I do use them. You can put those in there. My boning knife, one I really wish Pampered Chef would bring back, and then an extra utility knife. So you can see that you can put a lot of extra knives in here. They don't have to be Pampered Chef brand. So if you have some that you love already, you can put them in the block. Now, so what's so great about Pampered Chef's cutlery? Well, they're fully forged German steel, and they have their balance. Let me see which one I want to grab here. This one. So this is our chef's knife. So they're weighted and balanced. So the handle, you can see I can kind of hold on to this here. It's not going to go anywhere. Comparing it to another piece of cutlery that we sell, this one has there's no weight in that handle, so I can't even hold it. It's just gonna drop down. But on this one, I can kind of balance it a little bit better. Now, why is that important? This is a great knife, by the way. It has a 1-year guarantee. I've had mine many more years, and you can hone them on this too. The only knife you do not want to hone on the honing tool is a serrated blade. Anything that has a serrated blade, your bread knife, your tomato knife, you're not going to hone those because you're going to shave off those serrated edges. So these are great. They have a 1-year guarantee, but they're going to last you a lot longer than that. So having a weighted handle means that you are going to do less work when you are cutting and chopping. And so you're not having to push as hard because that handle is weighted, and it really helps your wrist just go right through the food. So this is our chef's knife. I'm going to zoom in because I'm going to be using this one, and I want to show you guys so you know how to hold this. So there's a little logo. Pampered Chef has a logo right here on the knife. It's on both sides. So what you're going to do, I'm right-handed, so everything I'm going to do today is going to be right-handed. I'm going to take my right hand, take my thumb and my index finger. I'm going to put my thumb on the logo on this side, and then my index finger on the logo on that side. Then I'm going to wrap my other 3 fingers around the handle like this, and then I'm going to be ready to use this on my cutting board. Now, what you want to know is when you're cutting, you want to keep that tip of the knife on the cutting board as much as possible so that you're just rocking the knife back and forth like this. You're not doing this, okay? You're doing this. And so, I don't know if you guys can see the difference. I'll hold it this way. So you're rocking it back and forth, tip to the base, and rather than doing this, okay? If you're only cutting with the tip of your knife, you're really missing out on a lot of potential with your knife. So you're just sliding it back and forth, tip to base, just like this. So that's what we're going to do when we use this on our vegetables. So I do want to tell you that you can freshen up the look of both your knife block and your wood cutting boards with some cutting board oil. I think I bought this on Amazon, but I know you can get it at Target and probably Walmart as well. And so after we're done using this, I'm going to shine this up. Hopefully I don't forget. The reason I'm not doing it first is I don't want a greasy surface while I am cutting. So this is a little bit greasy still because I did oil this block before I came onto the video today, and I don't want to pass any of that oil onto my hands or my knives because you want to make sure that your hands are dry so that you are using safe knife skills, right? Because it's easier to cut yourself if your hands are wet and you're all over hands are all over a wet, slippery knife. So let's start off with the bell pepper first. And the best way to cut a bell pepper is to cut around the core. So you're going to cut off one side and create a flat base. So creating that flat base keeps this from slipping and sliding all over. You have a really firm grip and you're not going to have to worry about losing that food. Now, I recommend that you kind of hold your food like this. You don't want your fingers out because it makes it really easy for you to cut your fingertips and your fingernails. So you're going to kind of curl your fingertips, and this is really important when you get really close to your blade when you are cutting and chopping. Now, I don't throw away anything that I don't have to, so I'm going to throw that away, and we're even going to save the bottom. So I'm not going to cut this whole pepper for time's sake, but I do want to show you. For me, I find that it's easier if I hold the pepper this way. Some people find it better to lay it flat like this. There's no right or wrong way for you to do that. Remember what I said. I'm gonna try to do this on the side here so that you guys can see. See how I've got my knife down? I'm just gonna slide down and back up. So I'm getting single cuts every single time, and I'm paying attention to where my fingertips are, okay? Now we're gonna cut these strips into chunks, okay? So if you wanted to dice something, you can take those. Now I recommend that you turn the food rather than the knife. So I was going in this direction before. It's a really awkward position for me to do that on this. So always turn the food, not the knife, because it is awkward and you're gonna have more margin for error when you do it here, and by error I mean cutting yourself. And so we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to slide this back and forth, and I have this right kind of up against my parallel with my the side of my body. Okay, so that's how you can get a nice dice. So I heard one time, I think it was Rachel Ray, that said you need 3 knives. Every kitchen needs 3 basic knives, and you can pretty much do every job with those 3 knives. Those knives are going to be a chef's knife, a utility knife, which I'll show you here in a second, and let's see, where did I put my paring knife, and a paring knife. So 2 of these 3 are sold open stock. The paring knife is only available in the knife block, and so you can purchase these 2 outside of the block, but not the paring knife. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide what knives that you want to order. Now, you can get the knife block set as a Host 50% off item. So if it's out of your budget and you're like, Mindy, I really need good knives, but it's out of my budget, contact me and I'll help you with a party, and we'll help you get that for free or for 50% off. So that's your chef's knife here, and you'll notice that the utility knife does not have those logos, but you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna hold the base and here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to put your finger across the top like this, because if you do, it's really easy for you to slip this way or slip this way and cut yourself. So hold every knife the same way. Once you train your brain to do this, it's going to be so much easier. So the next thing I'm going to show you is a zucchini, and you want to just cut off the ends. So this is a great knife for prepping vegetables. If I was going to do a lot of slicing, then I'm going to go with this bigger knife because I can get thinner cuts and I just have a more smooth cutting process there. So the utility knife is going to be for smaller jobs, so like cutting off the ends to prep your vegetables or making chunks out of food. But if you're wanting to do a lot of slicing and dicing, your chef's knife is your go-to. Now, if you have smaller hands and you feel like that is just too much for you, then get our 5-inch Santoku knife. Hold the knife exactly the same way, and you're going to just be sliding. And with this one, you may be, depending on what you're cutting, you may have to pick up the knife because the blade is not as long and you can't go all the way up. But see, I can get thin, I can get thick, I have really good control. So you're going to want to have at least one of these 2 knives, so the Santoku or the chef's knife. The chef's knife is going to give you the most flexibility. Now, the next knife that I want to talk to you guys about is a paring knife, and I just have a pair here. The paring knife is only available in the set, but I like it because it's super sharp. Personally, I would use a peeler rather than a paring knife because I have so many great tools. I definitely utilize all the ones that I have, but I like that we have a really good paring knife because it makes it really easy for you to hold on to, and it's super sharp, and you can just peel all the way around whatever it is that you are wanting to peel. Now, when you get to this, you may want to peel in this direction because you're looking at a smaller area, or you could go in this direction. Just be careful about your thumb behind you. So this is great for peeling potatoes, pears, apples, and other fruits, peaches too, which I need to get some peaches before they're all gone. I'm a Georgia peach and I haven't had nearly enough peaches this year. All right, so that is the paring knife, which is only available in the set. Let me dry my hands. Remember, you don't want wet hands when you are cutting and chopping because you're going to have more risk of cutting yourself. Ask me how I know, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transfer these foods into some bowls so that I can use them later, but I wanna show you how to oil your cutting board. And this cutting board has two sides, and it has a groove on one side to catch any juices, and then the other side is just flat. So you can carve on one side and then clean up, dry it off, and serve from the other side. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wipe this clean. Actually, I'm gonna rinse this one off since we're gonna oil it up. I wanna make sure that I get it nice and clean. So let me dry this, and then I'll show you how to oil it up. But it is gonna stay a little bit greasy for a little while after you oil it up, so that's why it's really important to not oil it right before you're gonna use it. So use it at the end of your prepping, not at the beginning. All right, I want that really, really dry, and then I'll flip this over. Let me dry my countertop too. And I'll show you the other side is completely smooth. So this makes a beautiful serving board, or you can make charcuterie on here, cheese boards. It's great for that. So I will flip this over. Now, I do want to address, if you see these knife marks on your cutting board, knife marks are a good thing, not a bad thing. When you see knife marks on your cutting board, it tells you that you have a good cutting board that's not going to dull your knives. If you use a board that's not going to give at all, like marble or granite, they're pretty, but they are going to dull your knives, and they're not going to keep them in good working condition. So you want to use something that's going to give a little, but that also means you're going to get some knife marks on the cutting board. I don't even know if you guys can see this, but there are some scratches, but that's what a cutting board is for, right? So I don't usually do any slicing on the other side because I want to keep it really pretty for serving, but on this side, I use knives all the time. All right, so we're gonna take our wood oil. I'm glad I didn't forget this. And what I recommend is that you get 2 paper towels. So you're gonna get one for the oil. I recommend that you oil your paper towel, don't just squirt the oil on your bar. I'll do one side so that you can kind of see, and then we'll do the other. I don't know how well you're gonna see the difference. I think in the camera, let's see if I can hold it with the lighting. You see how one side is shiny and one side is not? So we're gonna shine this up really good. And you don't have to do this very often, maybe once or twice a year, unless you just really, really want it to be super pretty. And the reason you're gonna wanna do this on your knife block is because when you're taking knives out and putting them back in, you're gonna accidentally poke on here, and you're gonna have little divots, and that's just natural wear and tear. But when you oil this up with wood, let's see, cutting board oil. This is Howard brand. It's colorless, odorless, and tasteless. It's food grade mineral oil, which means it's safe to use on surfaces that are going to have food on them. Okay, so that was our paper towel with oil. Now I'm gonna take a dry paper towel, and I like to just rub this really dry, and then let it air dry the rest. But this is super slick, super smooth, and if I had done this before I started cutting and chopping, it would have been really easy for me to slip and slide. My hands right now are nice and greasy, so make sure that you wash your hands really good with soap and water to get that greasy film off of your hands before you start using a knife again. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. If you need new cutlery, I would love the opportunity to help you. I don't remember if I mentioned, but our cutlery has a lifetime guarantee versus our colored pieces, the coated knives. These have a 1 year. Like I said, the colored knives are amazing. I know some of you guys watching have these and you love them, and you probably can't imagine something being better than those, but our forged cutlery line is superior, and it has a lifetime guarantee. So we reflect that in the guarantee as well. So if you have any questions about anything that I shared with you guys today, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and also go to theflipflopchef.com. Click the button at the top of the page to join my recipe community. So in my recipe community, I mentioned earlier I have thousands of recipes in a weekly giveaway, but I have offers there that only people in the group are eligible to take advantage of. So if you like saving money and winning free prizes, then make sure you join the group. That's all I have for you guys today, but I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.